the devil needs to keep you grounded is to make sure you don't forget your past, to make sure he keeps your mind in chaos and negativity, and you'll do the rest for him. So welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie. If you have ever struggled with an onslaught of negative thoughts, or you feel like sometimes your thoughts are taking over your mind, they're trying to control your life, and you feel helpless against it, this video is for you. I want to show you how to take control of your mind, and especially how to stop the onslaught of negative thoughts from bombarding your mind and taking over your life. Let's go. So first, let's start with why this is important. Whether you're trying to manifest a better life for yourself or an opportunity in your life, or you simply want peace of mind, your thoughts have a huge role to play in it. Because how can you create something positive when the garden of your mind is overwhelmed with self-doubt, negativity, defeated mentality, fear, lack, and all of these things that ensure that you are not able to move from where you are to where you want to be. I had a client once in the UK or thereabouts who sent me a message. She was struggling with an onslaught of negative thoughts. She couldn't control the thoughts in her mind, and she just wanted to know how to get over all of it. And I shared some very practical tips that I'm going to be sharing with us today, which have also helped me in my own life, and I know it's going to help a whole lot of people out there. A lot of people who have had mental breakdowns, who are in mental institutions, or who are going through very depressive episodes, failed marriages, or something negative in their life, something that is not very positive in their life, many of them got there through their thoughts. It may sound like a very cliche and simplistic way to put it. But negative thoughts have the tendency to spiral out of control. I don't know if you've ever experienced a situation where maybe you have a negative thought. It may be about the country, it may be about someone, and next it starts building and it's gaining momentum. Before you know, that small negative thought that was unchecked has turned into full-blown fear, paranoia, causing anxiety, and maybe that thing that you're scared would happen has not even happened. Imagine you are on a plane and you just have this thought that, what if we crash? And you don't check it. Next thing your mind goes, that's true. What are we going to do? I have family. I have a family at home. What am I going to do? I can't swim. Oh, what if this plane explodes in midair? Now, do you see that your external environment may not have caused anything to trigger that first thought, but because it's unchecked and you build that momentum, if you're not careful, you're going to have a full-blown panic attack right there on the plane. So that is why it's so important that we need to learn to check our negative thoughts and take control over them so they're not controlling us and running and ruining our lives. First thing I'll share with you to control those negative thoughts is stop fighting them. Your thoughts are not your enemy. Finding out that there's a mistake a lot of us make, especially when we are in the personal development, self-help, spirituality niche. We're always labeling certain thoughts as good and bad. No, I'm not supposed to think that, but you're thinking it. It's there. You cannot deny its existence. You cannot pretend like it doesn't exist. Sometimes these thoughts are just a reflection of the fears and the traumas we've been carrying within us for so long. An example is if you've had an extremely devastating marriage or relationship in the past, maybe you were cheated on in the past, and maybe something happens that hasn't really given you full concern, but you now have this thought that maybe this new person is cheating on me. Maybe they don't value me. Maybe they don't care about me. Maybe I'm not really important to them. And the more you think those thoughts, it starts building. Before you know it, you may call off a beautiful relationship because fear has been introduced into the equation. And now your thoughts are running you. They are running your life. So when you have that small negative thought, which is how it usually starts, I want you to take a moment to ask yourself, where is this thought coming from? Why am I thinking this? What is happening around me? Is this true? Or is this just a projection of my fear? Is there something I'm worried about? Is there something else? And also, is this something I can do anything about right now? So what you're actually doing is that instead of participating in that thought process. You are observing it. You're looking at it like the observer. And that's why meditation is very powerful. It helps you to detach from whatever is going on so that you can observe something critically and with more awareness. And also, the more you think you shouldn't be doing something, the more your mind is going to gravitate towards that. So skip the should, the labeling, and instead choose to be an observer and ask your thoughts critical questions that will help you check them. Number 2, your thoughts are not always your own. A lot of people may not know this, but most of the negative thoughts you have in your adulthood were formed in your childhood. So if you had a childhood with very critical parents or people who rejected you, you were ostracized, you were constantly made fun of, when you grow up into an adult, most of the negative thoughts you're going to be struggling with are flashbacks of the kind of childhood you have and the kind of voices you heard when you were growing up. I watched a video of a young lady talk about how she doesn't really struggle with negative thoughts. And she said it's because her parents were really kind to her when she was growing up. She said she doesn't have that inner critic that makes people feel like they're not good enough, they're not deserving, they're not worthy, makes them doubt themselves. Because when she was growing, her parents were very affirming, they made space for their failures, they were very loving. And she has a reassuring voice in her head, not a critical, negative one. That video made me pause in my tracks because a vast majority of us grew up with negative voices. Our parents were projecting their fears, their worries, their anxieties, and their traumas basically on us. Most of us were raised by parents who were not self-aware. And as a result, they transferred all that negativity into our lives subconsciously, and we grew up with very strong neural pathways that are so entrenched in negativity, self-condemnation, self-doubt, fear, and a lack mentality. Understand that your thoughts are not always your thoughts. That's guilt, fear, shame you feel. It may just be tied to your father, your mother, or someone around you when you were growing up. And let me give you the kicker. A lot of us, even though our parents may not be on earth anymore, we're still hearing their voices. They told us we're not good enough. And so now when you want to do certain things, you're afraid of failure because you were constantly berated anytime you failed as a child and told that you were not good enough, you don't know anything, you are not smart. And when you're older, and now you're older, you're probably doing well for yourself or you're probably struggling in certain areas of your life. You still have that inner critic that wants to make you feel like you're not good enough and condemns you and makes you feel small. It's not always your voice. Most times it's from your childhood trauma. This third one is very important, and I don't think I've really heard people talking about it. I've only seen it once in a book. The enemy, low vibrational entities, negative forces, can be hijacking your vulnerable moments and causing you to have extremely negative thoughts. I had an experience where I had a negative experience and I was still grieving that experience. I was feeling really bad, feeling really sad as a result of what happened. And at some point, I realized I started having really, really dark thoughts. And because I have the awareness, which is why I had to make this video, I quickly checked it. I knew that this was no longer me. This was no longer my experience speaking. A negative entity had entered into the building and was taking advantage of my pain and my trauma and whispering negative things into my mind. Immediately I realized this. I took authority over it, prayed about it, and like a flash, this thing disappeared. The thought practically disappeared. All the devil needs to keep you grounded is to make sure you don't forget your past, to make sure he keeps your mind in chaos and negativity, and you will do the rest for him. You will not move. You will not walk in your purpose. You will not move from where you are. You will not walk in your purpose because there's so much fear, there's so much doubt, there's so much worry, there's so much anxiety, and you'll do a great job of passing that trauma to your children. I remember someone was telling me that she knows that the reason her child is so fearful is because she's a very fearful mother and she has managed to transfer that to her child. So you see, the devil didn't have to go after the child. He just had to hold the mother's mind in captivity, and she did every other job for him. In seasons of grief, loss, or heartbreak, negative spiritual forces will try to hijack your pain. How you can identify such thoughts is that they feel obsessive. You can't stop thinking about it. They feel destructive. They want you to harm yourself. They want you to do something negative to some other person or in your life or your business or something. Those are not your thoughts. Something else is at play. I want you to be very mindful of thought forms. I'm going to do a video about that to help you understand what thought forms are. They are basically entities that take off a life form as a result of a collective consciousness, usually negative, or as a result of intense, prolonged emotional experience. God said, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it comes out the issues of life. So all the issues of your life are coming out from your mind, and you need to guard it very diligently from external influences and spiritual influence. Number 4, one way that I have consistently used over the years to protect myself and control my thoughts, is by rewiring my environment. So you need to understand that what surrounds you shapes you, it controls you. Whatever is around you, if you're constantly surrounded by sickness or poverty or negativity, it is going to seep in. As within, so without. As without, so within. Your external environment goes a long way to control your internal environment. Put affirmations or scriptures all over your home. And I'm not talking about scriptures where you are constantly fighting the devil or binding something. If you are, let them be victorious scriptures. Put scriptures that talk about how you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Scriptures that talk about how God is with you, how you need to trust the Lord with all your heart, how God is for you and who can be against you. Put up affirmations that says, I am healthy, I am whole, I am wealthy, I can do all things, I am smart, I am beautiful, everything is working out for me, I am enough, I have a wonderful life, everything is beautiful, everything is fine. These are the kind of words that really help you. What this does is that whether you're looking at it consciously or unconsciously, your subconscious is constantly picking up these cues in your environment and it's internalizing them. I do this, and if you go into my bedroom, right opposite my bed, you'll see the scripture, be still and know that I am God. So I have scriptures all over the place. I have on my mirror, I am enough. Why? I want my mind to be picking up on such information so that I am constantly, consciously and unconsciously absorbing positivity into my life. Let the truth of who you are be louder than all the lies that are around you. Put affirmations all over it. This thing works. It works like magic. Your words are so powerful, and that is why if you listen to the wrong person, it can feel sometimes like your spirit is being crushed. And if you listen to the right person, you feel like you can do absolutely anything. That is how powerful words are. Number 5, do this to control your thoughts. Be very careful what you consume on social media. I can't say this enough. A lot of us are just constantly consuming every single thing that comes out on the internet. Not just social media, music, online influencers, the TV, traditional media, radio, news outlets. We're constantly consuming all of these things, and we do not know that it has a very huge impact on the quality of our lives. Why do most news outlets and social media accounts focus on negative news? Because our mind has a negative bias, and so we just tend to favor information that is negative than information that is positive. We react more to such information. 100 people killed in XYZ. You may never have heard of that village or that country, but you're impacted, right? And while I don't think we should ignore what's happening all over the world, we need to understand that we are billions and billions of people in this world. And what social media and traditional news media has done is that it take out negative stories from different parts of the world and amplify it. And when they do this, you are going to talk about them over and over again. You're going to be in a state of fear. And when you're in a state of fear, you're easier to control and manipulate. And if I tell you, buy this for your peace of mind, you're going to buy it. If you're always hearing news of brokenness, sadness, scarcity, recession, all of these are just fear-based tactics to put you in a state of fight, flight, apprehension, worry, and anxiety. A quick way to check this is notice how you feel after watching some of these things. How does it feel in your body? Do you feel more positive? Do you feel more in love with life? Do you feel hopeless, dejected, or just feel like fighting everyone? There's a time I had to stop going to Twitter because every time I came out from that place, I was constantly angry, scared, anxious, and apprehensive. Now, are you seeing how one social media app on my phone was causing so much stress to me that even when I was not in the app, I was replaying those things over and over again in my mind, and it was having an impact on the quality of my life. Even up to the music you listen to, be very careful. I remember a day I just decided to listen to some music and I had headphones on, and the next thing, I usually choose my songs, but somehow, you know, the way all this algorithm work, you get a song that, you know, you didn't choose, and it was playing. And next thing I heard is, I'm sad, I'm sad. I'm like, why? Why are you projecting that into my spirit? But a lot of top celebrities are very guilty of this. Their music is an avenue to transfer a lot of negative emotions to the masses. And, you know, back to what I said, keep them in a state of disillusionment, dysfunction, easy to control and easy to manipulate. And that reminds me of a song that blew up on the internet, Anxiety. And everybody was singing it, making videos with it. And I'm like, a lot of you are not struggling with anxiety already, and you're going to start wondering 1-2 years from now why you have anxiety problems. It is because some time ago, someone decided she was going to own anxiety, calling it her anxiety, and you sang along with her and invited the spirit of anxiety in your life, and now it has a very legal pathway to operate in your life. So you need to be careful. Don't say it's just music, it doesn't matter. Music is actually one of the best ways to inject any message into your spirit. A lot is going on out there, and you need to be very deliberate and intentional about what you want to feed your mind and what you want your life to look like. Number 6, if you want to control your mind, make sure you control the kind of people that you have around you. If you're constantly around complainers, people who are always afraid, who are always speaking negative things, who have a problem with the government, who have a problem for every solution, you're going to absorb that energy and it's going to start reflecting in your life. It doesn't matter how you try to be positive or you try to be different or you say, oh, I want to influence them. It is easier for them to drag you down to their level than for you to raise them up to your level. You can only show people the light. You cannot force them to walk in that light. Some people fuel anxiety, fear, drama, and they call it friendship. What kind of friendship is that where you are not elevating each other? Surround yourself with people who speak light, not just vent darkness. And you need to be very conscious of this, that you are not the one that is also venting darkness. Because people who speak light and who are very deliberate about the kind of things that they hear and kind of people around them, they don't want someone who will drag them down. So if you want to attract those kind of people into your life, you first have to be that kind of person. And I'm speaking from experience. I will not allow certain people to stay in my life for longer, especially if I notice that they're always complaining, they always have issues, you know, there's a lot of drama always around them. They never see anything good in the world. They make me feel anxious and fearful. I will cut them off. If you want to be around people who have higher vibration, you have to be a higher vibrational person yourself. You have to do the inner work and ensure that you keep your inner environment clean. You don't need to cut out everyone for your peace, but you need boundaries if you want inner peace and if you want a healthy mental environment. Number 7, another way you can control your thoughts is by journaling. I love journaling because whenever I feel like my mind is so full and there is absolutely nothing I can do about it at that point, and it feels like it's overwhelming, I just pick up a piece of paper and just start writing. What you're doing energetically is that you're transferring that mental clutter from your mind and transferring it into that piece of paper. Sometimes just writing out those things feels very therapeutic. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Has this ever happened to you? If it has, please write in the comment section. It feels very therapeutic and you just feel like, you know, something has lifted from you. Also, another thing it can help you do is that you identify the kind of thoughts you're thinking. When something is in your head, it looks like, it's all fine. But sometimes when you write it down, then you see how bad it is or how dark the thoughts really are. Whether you're keeping the journal or just dumping it on a piece of paper and burning it later, throwing it away after, that is not what's most important. Just being able to keep track on your thoughts helps build that self-awareness that you need to control your thoughts instead of them controlling you. The last but not the least, a very important point when it comes to controlling your thoughts is practicing self-compassion. I think that this is where a lot of us miss it. We, especially those of us who are already on a healing or personal transformation journey, you have a negative thought and then you get angry with yourself for having the negative thought, and then you just enter this vicious cycle that is never ending, and you're just constantly having this repeat, and then the self-condemnation, and then the anger, and then you're unable to control it, and it just spirals out of control if care is not taken. One thing I like to ask myself, especially when I'm having an onslaught, a deluge of negative thoughts, I ask myself, was this something I will feel comfortable saying to someone I love or someone I care about? And most times the answer is no. So why do we say it to ourselves? Because we're regurgitating those negative things we were told in childhood, and we're never really taught to love ourselves or hold space for ourselves, especially when we make mistakes or experience some kind of failure. I need you to understand this. Your inner critic is not your truth. It is not telling the truth. Because you can hear it in your mind does not mean it's true. Neither does it mean it's coming from God or from you. So start speaking to yourself like someone that is worth loving, like someone that is deserving of kindness, compassion, and acceptance. Practice radical self-compassion. Always ask yourself, is this something I'm going to feel comfortable saying to someone else? And if it's not, why do you feel comfortable saying it to yourself? I hope you're able to get so much value out of this video, and I hope it helps you. Share with me in the comments which of these points resonates most with you and which of them you want to start practicing starting today.